I don't think the Eagles are going to get off to a good start this year. I think they're going to get off to one of those 2-5 starts. They're blowing off mandatory minicamp this week? Really? They're blowing off mandatory minicamp, cutting their camps short, and getting ready for the July training camp, which they're probably going to cut short there too. I'm just going to make a prediction. I don't think they're going to get off to a great start. How can you be prepared for an upcoming season when you don't practice? You don't have quality reps. They're not going to have any quality reps, and I don't care what control scrimmages they're going to do in July with other NFL teams. That's not quality reps. Big Silz National Football Show, and we are now weeks away from the start of NFL training camps. And just like an apocalypse now with Robert Duvall, can you smell it? Smell that napalm. Smells like victory. I could smell football in the air. Smells like victory. God, man, I love football. Hey, sports is great too, by the way. Excuse me, but as me being Nostradamus here, did Big Silz not tell you? Tampa Bay Lightning going to the Stanley Cup Finals will take on the Avalanche. By the way, Bolts in 6. How you doing? 3 straight in a row. Oh, maron to me. Last team to do something like that were the New York Islanders of the 80s. Iconic run. Your Phillies got blasted yesterday, but playing better. I know 2 minutes of conversation here with Big Silz on that. Okay, I get it. I get it. This is all about football. I'll tell you this too. I'm starting to love this dude, AJ Brown, man. He's a little bit of a shit talker. Eagles need to have some of that in their locker room, man. Hey, you got a lot of people already giving you the all-season crown and telling everybody that this is going to be one of the teams maybe to beat in the NFC this year. And I happen to think that as well. All right. And by the way, real quick, the guy that works at Papa John's, third fastest 110 high hurdles in history. Unbelievable. I couldn't believe what I was watching. I'm watching the championships over the weekend, and what's the kid's name? The guy from Papa John's, Devin Allen. Holy shit, man. Third fastest time in high hurdle history. That's pretty good. I don't know if that translates into being a football player. He did play some ball at Oregon. I don't know what that means. And it's not like he's been off for 6 years because he couldn't play ball. He was off for 6 years because he was trying to do all the Olympics. It's all good, especially with COVID going on. He wanted to try to reach an Olympic dream. That's something that he's skilled at. I don't have a problem. COVID probably hurt his plan. He was probably going to try to make the NFL a couple of years earlier because of COVID and the postponing of the Olympics. I probably put a wrench in that plan. That's why it's been a little too long here. 6 years, we'll see. He is a wide receiver. We're not talking about a quarterback here. So, hey, man, I'm pulling for the kid. It shows you this. Third fastest time. That's impressive. The kid's got wheels. You know who else was a high hurdler and a great athlete? Rod Woodson. RG3 also, man. Dude, I know, 0.4 off the world record. That's insanity. And the Eagles have him. How about this, man? What if this guy turns out to be like Wes Welker and how he gets another feather in his cap? Yeah, I found the kid. Yeah, I found him on the track and field tracks around the country. But my, intuition was, let me give this guy an opportunity. Whatever, dude. Okay. But let's hope this guy pans out, man. I'd really love to see him on the Eagles. Can you imagine? That guy ends up knocking Jalen Reagor off the squad because he comes in and has a great training camp. I don't know how he's going to have a great training camp, though. They seemingly don't practice all that much. All right. I've been hitting on a topic. By the way, please hit the like button. Gary Cobb in hour number 2. We got a big week already lined up for you guys. Today, in hour number 2, Gary Cobb, where he always sits at 4:30 Eastern. Tomorrow, Hollis Thomas will be on with us, Eagle legend, at 3:30. And then on Wednesday, Ice Cube's going to join us. He's going to join us at 3:30 Eastern time on Wednesday. Then Chris Sims on Thursday. So we got a pretty big week lined up here. Can't wait to talk to Ice Cube. That'll be on Wednesday at 3:30. So we got a boatload of people jumping aboard with us. I see all you guys up here, man. Thank you so much for coming aboard. We got a big week, man. An absolute big week. All right. Let me throw this at you here. Okay? I'm gonna make a prediction. And you guys tell me if I'm wrong here. I don't think the Eagles are going to get off to a good start this year. I think they're going to get off to one of those 2-5 starts. They're blowing off mandatory minicamp this week? Really? They're blowing off mandatory minicamp, cutting their camps short, and getting ready for the July training camp, which they're probably going to cut short there too. I'm just going to make a prediction. I don't think they're going to get off to a great start. How can you be prepared for an upcoming season when you don't practice? You don't have quality reps. They're not going to have any quality reps, and I don't care what control scrimmages they're going to do in July with other NFL teams. That's not quality reps. Quality reps are preseason games. And with all the new players, and also with you trying to develop your new quarterback, I don't know how you look at it where you think practicing less and hoping that we're healthier going into the regular season is more important than actually being prepared. I know it's a double-edged sword. So let me ask you this. Would you rather be prepared going into a season, or would you rather practice less and not be prepared so you can go in healthier? You tell me. And I'll tell you what, if you think I'm hating on it, out of the gate on a Monday, I'll listen to you right now. Do you think right now it's better to go into a season healthy, okay, healthy, by limited practices versus being prepared in practice? You tell me what you think is the best avenue, and take anything in your life that you just do without practicing that you have a passion for, okay? You tell me. Jeremiah says, I really don't care, honestly. Okay, so if they get out to another 2-5 start, you'll know why. That's my prediction. That's my prediction. Second-year coach, third-year quarterback, second-year starting quarterback, actually. Chris, right? You know, N'Kobe Dean and also Jordan Davis. These guys aren't going to get a lot of practice time. I'm just saying this. They're not going to get out to a strong start. You're not even going to be practicing game tempo. This is, in my opinion, a remedy for a slow start to the season. And don't be shocked if the Lions jump up and play you a close one. You're not beating the Vikings. You may end up losing, actually, to the Washington Commanders. By the time you're going to be in shape will be that Jaguar game against your boy, man. I mean, Doug Peterson's team, they're going to be practicing. They're going to be getting ready. They got a lot of young players on that team. Okay? I find it weird that this week would have been mandatory minicamp for the Eagles, and they blew it off, said, nah, that's all right. We don't need it. Well, these guys have already crowned themselves Super Bowl champions. I'm just saying, that's not, in my opinion, a way to get out of the gate and think that you're going to be prepared to go out and play in an NFL season. I get the war of attrition. I understand that, and I understand that as well as anybody. And by the way, I'm not talking about going out and banging heads for 3 freaking hours. I'm talking about quality reps. I'm talking about putting Jalen in some exhibition games, maybe a series and a half. Maybe you play him a quarter just to get game tempo. No, that's not what they're doing. Okay, you know what? They say this to you. And when I had D Gunn on with me last Friday, he's got a great point. Here's the great point. Watch this. Well, it worked last year. Okay, well, that wasn't your philosophy when you went into the 2017 season, was resting guys and pulling guys out of practice. That's not what your philosophy was when you were winning. That's not what it is. So to me, okay, because they were healthy a year ago, they're looking at it now Hey, preservation is the most important thing. And you know what? There's a part of me that understands that. You're right. Protecting your roster as long as you can is vital if you're going to try to win an NFC East. How many teams in the NFL? And you know what? To Howie's side of it, if you want to look at it on both sides here, to Howie's side, how many teams really do in the NFC have great rosters right now? One or two or three catastrophic injuries could end a team's season. If Dak Prescott goes down in Dallas, that Dallas Cowboys season's over. If Aaron Rodgers goes down in Green Bay, that season's over. It is absolutely over, right? Hell, if Matthew Stafford goes down, that season is over in Los Angeles. I mean, hey, Chris goes, how did it work at 2-5? They stopped throwing the ball and they started running it, and they went to their strengths and made themselves one-dimensional. And the play calling changed. That's when the offensive coordinator took over from Nick Sirianni on the play calling, was when they got out to that 2-5 start. Dude, 2-5, they were healthy last year. They made a great run. They'll probably make another great run. They've got another back-end, really weak schedule again. I mean, look at who they finished with. Last 5 games, Giants, Bears, Cowboys, Saints, Giants. I mean, you're going to be in a position to catch up and get back into a race if you get out of it early in the middle of that schedule. The middle of the schedule is really where they've got to be concerned about having depth. When you take on Washington, the Colts, the Packers, the Titans, and then you come out of that with a Giants game, a conference game, and a divisional game, that stretch right there will be your season, along with the first 3 games of the year. I think the first 3 games and that stretch in the middle of the season, coming out of the bye, is going to be really big and essential for the success of the Eagles this season. All right, guys, hit the like button. I'm just making that proclamation here. I think that they're going to have some issues getting out of the gate here with the way that they're approaching, how they're preparing. Their preparation, I'm not a fan of. I'm just not a fan of how they prepare for a season. They don't practice very hard. They almost like go through the motions. You know, it's almost like grab-assing. Okay? It's not quality. It's not quality reps. I may be totally wrong. They may go 17-0. They may win a Super Bowl. I'll be completely wrong. Okay? I just, and again, like some of you guys would say, Silz, this is the new NFL today, man. You got to save your roster. I get it, and you may be exactly right. You may be exactly right on that. Susan says, I want Eagles at least beat the Titans, Colts, or Packers, one of those games. I think they can win I think they can win every single one of those games. I think the Titans are going to roll back, depending on what Derrick Henry's doing. Derrick Henry, first 9 games, Derrick Henry, that's going to be a problem. It'll clearly test the Eagles' run defense. That team will test the run defense for sure. Tannehill's not a bad quarterback either. If you play that zone coverage, he'll even kill you. The Packer game's going to be very interesting. The Packers actually are getting better on defense. And this notion, because they lost Davante Adams, that they have no wideouts, I keep telling people this stat all the time. And I keep telling them about the mentality of the Packers all the time. Dude, they've had 2 wide receivers that they've drafted in the first round since 1988. 2. Okay? 2 wide receivers. Think about that. The rest of these guys have all been later round draft choices. Even Davante Adams wasn't a first round draft choice. It's not as essential as you think. 60% of the Pro Bowlers over the last decade are non-first round draft choices. The Packers develop wideouts. They've had 2 legendary quarterbacks do that. They're going to be in a good position to win ball games this year. And like I said, they're getting better on the defensive side of the football. Nathan says, not practicing and actually drafting Jakobi. Eagles do it differently. Okay, Nathan, let's find out. Nathan, you truly believe canceling mandatory minicamp and then turning around and doing this for the upcoming training camp? I guarantee you they break camp earlier than any other team in the league, because they've got this notion. They believe that if they don't practice a lot, they're going to save their guys for the season. And it doesn't really matter if they get out to that slow start, because they think they got one of the weaker schedules, and they do, that they're going to be able to catch this thing in the back end of the schedule. Okay, that's kind of a flawed philosophy, but I'd like to see the Eagles get out to a strong start. Hey, when's the last time Philadelphia got out to a strong start? Was it 17? That's the last time they got out to a strong start. Is that correct? Where they got out to a really great start and they were really dominating football teams. When you had veteran guys littered all over the lineup, and that's what's different from that team to this team. All right. Let me roll into this topic here. I want to do something here because we talk so much Jalen Hurts. Let's take Jalen Hurts out of this conversation, okay? And put him over here to the side. No conversations on Jalen Hurts, okay? What is the least, or who is the least, how can I phrase this right? Who is the most important Philadelphia Eagle that this team cannot lose this season? The one player that they cannot lose to ensure a successful season. We'll throw it out that way. Who is the one guy that you look at? I got a guy written down here, and I want to see if you guys are on the same page with me here with this. The one Philadelphia Eagle that this team cannot win without. Who is that guy? Smile says Slay. Chris says AJ. Susan says Mulata or Dickerson. AJ Brown. Goddard. We're going to talk about him. I want to write something down about Dallas Goedert too. I saw something in the Philadelphia Inquirer today, and I happen to agree with it. Okay, I'm going to put that out there. Kelsey. Got to be someone in the O-line, says James. Slay says Eric. Adam says Slay. Pretty good, man. The guy I'm thinking about right now, and you guys are throwing Slay. Meta, they won 9 ball games last year without AJ. Slay or Bradbury, Gaming says. Kelsey. All right, let me throw you my guy. I do like Slay. I think Darius Slay would be a massive loss to that football team. But I do think the secondary is going to have a better season this year because of the improvement in the front seven. Okay. I say the one player that this team cannot win without is Jordan Mulata. I think having a solidified left offensive tackle like him on that football team, in my opinion, there's very few teams that have a Pro Bowl type left offensive tackle. That guy's going to anchor that position, barring any catastrophic injuries, for the next 15 years. He's going to be at that position. And when you're trying to develop a quarterback, you want to have your blind side protected, and you want to make sure that that blind side is protected. I know he's different, and he runs around a lot. So I get that. But Mulata's so athletic, he understands that. That line is in sync with how Jalen Hurts plays ball. This year is going to be different than last year, though. The reason that I'm picking Mulata, why do you think I'm picking Mulata? Because they're changing the passing system in Philadelphia this year. You don't go out and spend $100 million on a wide receiver to have him block in your run game. That's part of his assignment. But the last 2 years, look at the investment that the Eagles have made. They've drafted a guy in the first round in Devontae Smith, and they just gave $100 million to a 25-year-old superstar in A.J. Brown. Okay? And so it's important. They're changing the way that they're going to throw the football this year. And teams are going to defend Jalen differently. That left tackle has to be a cornerstone in this approach. Here's why. What's the one thing that Jalen did exceptionally well last year? run. He ran around and he was able to move the chains. You're not going to be afforded that. What is the one thing you think? Here, defensive coordinators, guys, they don't fear Jalen the passer. They fear Jalen the runner because his running sets up open lanes for him. If he can't move around, Jalen Hurts is an ineffective passer. His passing skills right now are not NFL quality, but his overall package is. Jalen is an overachiever, okay? He's an overachiever, works hard, all those things we talk about ad nauseum. But he's not a skilled passer. So what are D coordinators? And I thought about this over the weekend. If you're a D coordinator, how are you stopping Jalen Hurts this year? Okay? I'm setting the edges. I'm not letting him get out in the perimeter. I'm going to make him roll right instead of rolling left. He loves to roll left. I'm going to make him – they're going to do things to him that Monty Kiffin used to do to, say, Kurt Warner. Kurt Warner used to love to get to a spot and throw the football in rhythm. Peyton Manning used to do that. Great defensive coaches take that asset away that those quarterbacks love to do each and every single time they drop back. That's what makes Brady so great in his pre-snap. Brady, when he goes back, he already has an 85% understanding of where he's going with the ball. It's almost like doing card tricks with Brady. Aaron Rodgers can drop back and go like this and throw it anywhere because he throws on the run, and he sometimes doesn't even really know where he's throwing the ball. He has an understanding because he plays the position and he's a savant at it, but he doesn't have the pre-snap reads and he doesn't do the pre-snap things that Brady does. Brady has to do it. You know what's funny? Jalen Hurts relies so much on his athleticism. Brady can't. That's what's made Brady a better quarterback. Brady is a better quarterback because he can't run fast. Brady's a better quarterback because he can't scramble. Brady's a better quarterback because he rarely slides. Brady's a better quarterback. The only time you see him running is on 4th and 1. All of those things have made him have to read progressions, had him study with pre-snap. Jalen never had to do that because if it wasn't open, he'd take off. Brady can't do that. That's what has made those guys like Joe Burrow's not taking off. And people in Los Angeles don't want Justin Herbert taking off. Okay? So Jordan Mailata and that old line is going to be so important this year for the blocking of Jalen Hurts and his development. If Jordan Mailata goes down and you lose that left tackle, now look, they have depth. But when you lose a quality player like that, in my opinion, boy, I'll tell you, devastating, especially in a quarterback who's trying to figure it out. Okay? I mean, it's impossible to be able. I don't know how Joe Burrow did it last year with the 31st worst offensive line in the NFL. I have no idea. Okay? I can't wait to see Carson Strong in preseason. Okay? I can. Keep Hurts in the pocket. Make him beat you with his arm. Chris, it's so simple, isn't it? And he can't. But now with the new additions, that's why the pressure's on him. You see what Tyreek Hill said over the weekend, wide receiver now with the Dolphins, former Chief, said that Tua's accuracy is incredible, and this guy here is a great looking talent, He's put a ton of pressure on Tagovailoa this year. Tagovailoa's got to throw for 4,500 yards. You got Waddle on the other side too. You got a decent tight end. You got a pretty good running game. I'm telling you, man, Tua's got to put up big numbers. Or the Dolphins, who also have multiple picks in 2023, will be in the market for a quarterback, and they'll trade that guy. Okay? They'll trade him. Mailata is someone that you want in a fist fight. Absolutely. I want that whole offensive line in a fist fight. 60 sacks for Burrow, and they still won the AFC and went to the Super Bowl. And we're 1/4 away, Nathan, on winning the whole damn thing. Joe Burrow, in his last 3 years, think about that. His last 3 years, he's won a national title, a Heisman Trophy, and he won an AFC championship, and he was a quarter away from winning the Super Bowl with a shitty O-line. You talk about incredible. That's how you win ball games. And he did it with, like we said last week, the Bengals. This guy changed the culture around in Cincinnati. I'll tell you this. I'd rather be right now in the AFC, I'd rather be the Bengals than the Steelers. I'd rather be the Bengals than the Browns. I'd rather be the Bengals than the Patriots. I'd rather be the Bengals than the Dolphins. They got their guy. Okay? They got their guy. There's more upside in Cincinnati since Joe Burrow landed there than there is in New England, with the greatest coach in league history. Think of that. The Bengals. Okay? Drew says, our O-line is damn good. We have great depth, too. If Jalen figures it out, plays from the pocket, and reads defenses, our offense will be lethal. What up, Young? How you doing, brother? Appreciate you coming in, man. Hill is a knucklehead, putting unnecessary pressure on his quarterback, says Michael. You know, Michael, I was just talking to Xander about that. Don't you see when people say dumb shit sometimes and you go, why? Okay. R Gravy, I like that. Let me write that down. Tua or Jalen. I'll write that down and we'll hit on that. Thank you very much. You know, I was just talking to, and not to go off subject here. You don't need to throw that out there for the media so that you can have a quote or something. At least it's football. Like this stuff going on with Jack Del Rio with the Commanders. Not to get off topic, like I said, but why? Even if you feel that way, even if you feel the guy's right, you're a defensive coordinator of the Commanders. Why are you talking about January 6th and putting heat on your team? What's the point? Well, Silz, he has a right. No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. You know what he does have a right? He's got a right to say it, but you don't have a right to bring unwanted pressure into my locker room for dumb shit. That's the stuff I'm talking about with Hill even. Don't bring stuff into the locker room that we don't need. Jack Del Rio bringing up January 6th is stupid, even if you think he's right. Why would I want that unwanted conversation in my locker room? Media asks questions, says nuts. Don't answer it. I'd rather not answer it. I'll answer football questions. What do you make of Tua versus Patrick Mahomes? So he actually made a comment to Tyreek Hill over the weekend that Tua's more accurate than Patrick Mahomes. I tweeted out, so you're really saying that you would rather have Tua Tagovailoa as your quarterback than Patrick Mahomes? Sour grapes, guy. He talks about, you notice how Tyreek Hill every day has a comment about the Chiefs? He misses his home. The bag of money, all of a sudden, that grass is greener on the other side. It's kind of worn off a little bit. And he misses his buddies. He misses Kelsey. He misses Mahomes. He misses Andy Reid. You don't think there's a difference in approach between how they're going to get Tyreek Hill open in Miami versus how they're going to get Tyreek Hill open when he was in Kansas City with Andy Reid? Right? I mean, why bring that shit into the locker room? There's no reason for it. Now, look, the stuff that A.J. Brown's doing, needling the Cowboys and the Giant guys, I love it. Keeping it on the field, you're having fun with players at a charity event. That's good shit. Del Rio, parachutes in January 6th. You're like, well, what about Chase Young? Well, how's Chase Young look in minicamp? This guy's talking about it getting fined. You don't have that right to do that to my locker room. Someone goes, Silz, he has a right. Everybody has a right to say whatever. Not in my locker room, you don't. Not when there's other people involved. You don't have a right. Why do you want to bring shit into my room? Stuff you don't have to. That's one thing that the Eagles have done a great job. Would we not agree that the noise factor, there's none of that Wentz shit? You know the only thing we talk about with Wentz? When they play him twice this year. Eagle fans are looking forward to seeing Doug Peterson. Looking forward to seeing how they match up against the Cowboys. That's all great conversation, and that's why spirits are high with the Eagles. Washington's dealing with a dumb owner and a dumb DC. Thank God Ron Rivera's there. The Giants, I don't know. New management. They're under new management. We'll see what happens. The Cowboys, they make noise. Oh, Zeke is going to be a monster. He hasn't been a monster in 4 years. And there's the Eagles having cookouts. Everyone having fun. Everyone bringing good mojo to the team. There's a great juju in the room with it. Dude, that's exactly what we're talking about here. That's good shit, man. Okay? Look, all I'm saying is I'm a little critical of the start this year. And also, hey, way to go, man. These guys have kept the noise out of the building, and we're still talking about expectations. I love it, man. I do. Nuts says, you really think the media would have dropped it? Hey, Nuts, you know what you got to do? You got to put your foot down and be a man. And don't be A-Rod. You know the problem with A-Fraud? He tries to appease everybody, and he makes himself miserable. That was A-Fraud. You're never going to make anybody happy. So if you tell someone, get the hell away from me, and they want to call me surly, I'd rather have you call me surly than get a dumbass quote about January 6th in a moment that it doesn't fit. Jack Del Rio put a story in the Commander's locker room that doesn't fit. The Eagles have none of that. If I were the Eagles, I'd pray that Jack Del Rio continues to talk. That's bullshit, man. No reason to bring – you don't have a right in an NFL locker room to bring that in there. Dude, if you kick people like Michael Sams and Tim Tebow and players and guys like that with all those issues out, I don't know why you don't kick Jack Del Rio's ass out. I would too. Get out of here. We got enough shit with the owner. GT, what up, brother? Dude, A-Fraud is an absolute, I mean, that dude you see on TV now, he ain't him. Some publicist got to him. Hey, you know, you've got to be more self-deprecating and more stuff like that if you're going to really, he's on TV, and here's a steroid monster guy, and here's everybody, one of the most hated guys in baseball history. Now he's on the tube. You got to love it, man. A-Fraud. Hey, it's not that he wasn't one of the great baseball players, because he really was. 3,000 hits, almost 700 home runs. Come on, man, right? But as a human being, I mean, there's a reason why you hated A-Fraud and you love Jeter. And I'm not even the biggest Derek Jeter fan, and I'm a Yankee fan. The captain. Yeah, okay, great. Super. Derek Jeter, great. Captain. Yeah, all right. He's got to be one of the – he's a lot like, to me, DiMaggio. Nobody ever got really close to DiMaggio, and no one ever got really close to Jeter. So, anyway, got another topic for you. Two of the rookies. I want to hit on Jordan Davis and Kobe Dean. We're going to do that. Don't forget, my friends, Morgan & Morgan, where the fee is free. That means this. If you're hurt or injured on the job, picking that attorney is going to be one of the most important things that you can possibly do. And that attorney is going to get your family the compensation that you so nearly and deserve. Only place that you want to do that with is Morgan & Morgan. For the people, it is not a slogan. This is who they are. And for the last 30 years, like I said, they have collected over $13.5 billion in compensation for their clients. 800 attorneys strong at the biggest law firm in the country is Morgan & Morgan. Offices in Philly, New York, in Florida are ready to do battle for you. Listen, there's no such thing as a fender bender when we're talking about Morgan & Morgan. Not those folks. I've known John for 25 years. Call him at 800-512-1600. That's 800-512-1600. The call is free. The consultation's free. 800-512-1600. Open 24/7, 7 days a week. And when you call Morgan & Morgan, do me a favor. Tell them Big Silz sent you.
When choosing a lawyer for your injury case, you may ask, does the size of the law firm matter? Well, of course it does. The insurance company, they're huge with unlimited resources. And whether your case is big or small, they're built to bully you out of the money you're owed. But here's the good news. We're big too, the biggest actually. And we're built to fight to make them pay for all that was taken from you. Size is our strength. There's only one Morgan & Morgan. ForThePeople.com.